No one talks about how dangerous it is to be dating or to be friends with your biggest op. They could smile at your face. They could pretend like everything is fine. There could be absolutely no clear signs that this person wants bad for you, and they could be a really great person. But at the end of the day, if they are secretly rooting against you, energetically, you're going to feel that. Today, we are talking about befriending and being in a relationship with your biggest op. Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby. I'm just gonna get straight into it. I've been having a lot of people write in about specifically friendship, having the toxic friends in your life, and also having my own experience of dating or being friends with someone who's actually secretly rooting against me. Sometimes the signs aren't so clear. It's really sometimes all about a feeling that you're having deep within you of like, you leave this person and you start to question their intentions towards you. And sometimes I will say, sometimes it is just you overthinking, and like sometimes they are just good people. But the people that you want in your life, you should not even have to, for a single second, have to question their intentions. Like my best friend, my ride or die, I talk about her sometimes on the podcast, but I do not question for even a second. Like, I know she has my back. I know she wants what's best for me. There's not a single bad thing that I can say about her. I personally know that I want what's best for her. I am rooting for her in every single area of her life. If she wins, then I am like ecstatic. I'm excited. I'm rooting her on. And why would I even for a second want to I just almost think it's sometimes selfish to be friends with someone that I don't even want the best for them. Like, I should have people in my life that I look at them, I'm like, yes, like, let's go. You know how girls are. We don't sometimes say things directly to your face of how we're feeling about something. So we let things build up, and then one person doesn't want to say anything, the other person doesn't want to say anything, and then it's like, oh, well, maybe I'm thinking too much about it. But here's the thing. When you're friends with someone who you're just letting the stuff kind of build up, there's going to be a moment subconsciously you may not want the best for them. And it's not because you don't like them or you don't want to be friends with them, but there's so many things that have built up that has kind of made you resent this person. And the truth of the matter is, if you're not speaking your truth to your friends, are they really your friends? If you can't go to your friend and be like, I really don't like how you handle this. I really don't like when you do this. And you're scared that every time you bring up something towards them, it's either going to cause a conflict, and you don't like conflict, so you're just not going to say anything at all. The thing is, behind the scenes, you're actually building up more conflict than there needs to be. And eventually, it's going to lead to even bigger conflict because both of you secretly kind of hate each other. I've had that happen in my life more than once. And I've realized now, like, you kind of just have to be real with your friends. Have the conversation, have the hard conversation. The thing is, if they're taking it personally and they're like, I can't believe like you would do that, or they stop being your friend because of it, that was never really a true friend to begin with. And do you really want someone do you really want to be friends with someone who you kind of have to tiptoe around because you can't give them the direct truth without them getting hurt by it? Like, you shouldn't have to tiptoe around your friendships. Have the hard conversation, or maybe that person shouldn't be in your life if you're scared of conflict or you're scared of speaking your truth to this person. If you can't speak your truth to your friends, that is not your friend. Anyway, I want to get into this because I have definitely in my life dated guys that were my biggest op. I've also been friends with people who secretly wanted the worst for me. And I know now, I can see the signs, I can see the writing on the wall each and every single time watching it play out. And I wrote down some like specific things that you can watch out for, how to tell if your friend actually is a supportive, good friend, or you're actually friends with your biggest hater or your biggest fan. Listen, I will say this right now. You cannot be friends with a fan. You can't be friends with someone who wants to be you, looks up to you, steals your vibe, your aesthetic, steals your everything. Because here's the reality. That friend is either placing you or you're placing them, whatever the dynamic is, on a pedestal. In lopsided relationships, whether it's a romantic or a platonic relationship, when someone is looking up to someone and they're like almost idealizing that person, it's going to flop each and every single time. So you cannot be friends with someone who wants to be you. You can't be friends with someone who steals your whole aesthetic vibe, whatever. And like sometimes I think just naturally, the closer you get to someone, your vibes kind of naturally mesh. You start kind of talking like each other. You start acting like each other. You start dressing like each other. And that's a natural progression. That is almost a sign of flattery, honestly. But if one person is so set in their own tone and the other person's like taking like little bits from you, you're stealing all of your like ideas, your vibe, that is a one-sided dynamic. And I'm sorry, but you cannot befriend someone who wants to be you, because there will always be a secret competition that you don't even know that you're playing a part of. Ways on how to tell if you are dating or if you're friends with your biggest and I'm coming through with examples here. First of all, number one being they subtly enjoy your setbacks. I was once friends with this girl and she was like part of the friend group, and for some reason I always in the back of my mind, because she was part of the friend group, I never really like acted on it or tried to like push her out of my life, because it would have just caused more conflict for myself, because I would have had to take a step back from the entire friend group. But something in me was like, this girl does not like me. I can sense it. I can feel it. I don't have any proof, because she smiles in my face. She acts like my friend to my face. She's there for me. Like there's no concrete proof that she doesn't like me, but I just can sense it. You can feel it. As a woman, we have intuition. I just knew something was off. And I think my time where I really was like kind of sitting there and realizing it, first of all, I was the only one who was living in Miami at the time. So she would come and visit and she would stay with me. And we went out one time to dinner and I was telling her like, oh, I'm leaving Miami. All of these negative things that were happening in my life. My life was kind of like falling apart at the time. And I just could tell her vibe, her energy was like subtly excited and like happy that negative things were happening in my life. Like she got a little bit of a high off of it. And there wasn't like a specific way that I can tell, but a small smirk on her face, a small like, oh my God, no way. That it's the tonality of like, oh, I'm so sorry that's happened to you. What, honestly, F you. Like I'm going through it right now, and the least that you can do is be there for a friend. And she's actually making it worse. And in that moment, I was sitting there at dinner and I'm like, I'm never going to see this girl again. I think that this is it. Like, you really don't want what's best for me? I'm telling you every negative thing that's happening in my life, and you're like kind of getting high off of it. That is not my friend. I don't even want to associate with you anymore. So at that point, I really kind of took a step back from the friendship. She was kind of around because we had obviously mutual friends, but I had to take a step back because I'm like, this girl does not like me. She does not want what's best for me. She has evil eye on me. I'm convinced of it. But it's subtle things like the tonality, the small smirks when something's not going your way. It's the asking you so many questions and being nosy about your life, but then not giving you anything back. It's the subtle energy shifts when like things are going good for you, that they're just kind of like mute and they don't talk very much about your life or what's going good, but they're so fixated and they're so excited when something's not going right for you. That's what I'm talking about. And the opposite side of that, what I kind of just mentioned, is when someone is so like non-impressed with the things that are going right in your life, or you don't feel like you can actually go to this person when things are actually going great in your life because you don't like the tone that they're going to come to you. I remember one of my friends said this, and I'm like, that is not your friend. But she had gotten engaged, and her best friend from back home, she was like, I knew she was going through it. I didn't even want to give her a call the day that I got engaged because I felt like it was going to just like suck the life out of me. And I wanted to enjoy my moment of like just getting engaged and being so excited and being on this high with her fiance. And she waited a week to tell her best friend from back home because she didn't want her friend to steal her moment. And I'm like, that is not your friend. That is not something or someone that you even want to be around, because your exciting moments in life, the moments where you're feeling elated, those are the moments that you want to go to your friends and be like, oh my God, this happened to me. And they're so excited that they're equally as excited because they feel like they're also winning when you're winning. Any good thing that's happening to my actual friends, I'm so excited for them because I'm like, this is like, you're having good news, so it's like rubbing off on me, so I'm excited. You should have that feeling towards your friends, and if you don't, those are not your friends. And if they take every single positive news that you do and they kind of bring it back to themselves. So with my friend, when she was like, oh, I waited a week to tell this friend because I knew she was going to make it about herself in some way, shape, or form. She was going to bring it back to the shitty guys that she's dating and like how she can never find the person. And I'm like, no. Let someone have their moment. And if you don't, and you have to always bring it back and make it about yourself, I can't see how anyone would want to be friends with that. Like, you can't go to this person about anything because inevitably it will loop back around to that person. It's like, can I just have one moment? Can I just have a singular moment where it's not bringing it back to you? That is the most frustrating thing, and I don't think that's talked about enough. But not normalize not bringing the conversation always back to yourself. And I used to do this a lot, so like, trust me, I get it. It's annoying. And seeing it play out on the other side, it's like, please stop talking. You're having this extremely exciting news, and then the other person's like, oh, well, that's so exciting. Actually, when I got engaged and blah, 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 blah. This is not about you. Normalize not making everything about you. And if your friends are doing this, get rid of those friends. The next point that I want to bring into is everything turning into a competition. And I've experienced this so freaking much with men specifically. I don't know why men feel like they have to compete with me. Maybe it's the energy I give off, but I'm like, I don't want to compete with you. This is not a competition. Why are you trying to and it's not even something that I'm actively like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. It's like naturally they feel like they have to compete with you. And if anyone in your life feels like they have to compete with you, those are not your friends. Those are not your people. You are dating. You are being friends with your biggest op because they're trying to be your opponent. They're trying to go against you. This is no competition. My only competition is me. If your friends or your man are trying to compete against you, those are not your people. I was even having this conversation with my friend. I'm like, it shouldn't be, the dynamic of friendship shouldn't be, I'm telling you something vulnerable about myself or something that I don't like that's going on in my life, and you immediately wrap it back to all of the negative things that have ever happened in your own life. I'm sorry, but why did we leave this again back to you? It's not fair. And if you want to have a competition on who has the worst life, you can take the prize for that. Matter of fact, it's all yours. You have the worst life. Congrats. Here is your reward. The next one is reframing criticism and justifying it as just being honest. I had this friend that I had to get rid of last year that I had to outgrow because we had some really great moments together. Like, I am so blessed that she was in my life for the period that she was. But towards the end of our friendship, I just there was things where I was like, talking about, I want to do this with my podcast, or this is a business idea that I want to open, or this is like ideas. And she would immediately hit me with like, why would you do that? Or like, that doesn't make sense for like you, or like whatever. You can give feedback if it's constructive criticism, or if you're giving me actually substance to work with, like, hey, maybe don't approach it like this, but here's what I'm thinking. What do you think about that? That's perfectly understandable. But to shut down every single idea, like, don't place your limiting beliefs on me, because if I'm throwing out ideas and I want to go down a certain path, regardless of what you say, I'm going to go down the path. Your limiting beliefs can stay on that side. I'm listening to my intuition and where I want to go in life. And if you have a problem with it, or if you're secretly hating because I'm doing something that you wish that you could do, you can keep that energy over there. We're not friends. Okay. But when you're speaking things and they immediately go to criticism, judging, why would you do that? That doesn't make sense for you. You're the kind of person that would never do that. That's not your strengths. I don't know why you would do something like that. Stay away from those people. Your friends in those types of moments where you're sharing ideas or whatever, they're going to be like, hey, I don't know about that. Like, honestly, if you think so, run with it, go with it. I'm here to support you. Or they're going to be like, hey, have you thought about maybe this, taking it from this lens? By all means, give me feedback. I want feedback from my friends. I don't want people-pleasing friends that are going to be like, oh yeah, like looks good, everything's good. Yep, you should do that. Those are also not your friends. If they say yes, yes, yes to everything that you do or that you say, those are also your people. Because as an example, it's like when you put on an outfit and you look ridiculous and your friends are like, yeah, you look great. Like you should wear that. And you're like, this was a test. This was a test. And my friend didn't pass. They were never going to tell me whether or not I looked good because they were there too people pleasing to be like, oh yeah, that doesn't look good. Or they genuinely don't like you and they want you to look like a clown walking out. This is actually such a good test that you can play. Put on a crazy outfit and then and that's another thing. With that same friend, we would be getting ready, whatever. I would put on an outfit and I can tell she did not vibe with what I put on. And instead of being like, no, what other options do we have? Like, let's do this together. Instead of doing that, it was more like silence. Didn't say a thing, didn't want to eat, but it was like, she didn't want to hurt my feelings, but then she also didn't want to cause friction, but she also secretly, did she want me to flop? I don't know what the intentions were behind it, but regardless, I just need truthful, honest friends. Be like, you don't look good in this. We can do better. We can do better than this. And the honest friends that give me honest feedback and actually, no, that doesn't look good. Let's try something else. I love those friendships. Okay. Lastly, they test your boundaries instead of respecting them. And whatever that means, I think as if you're dating someone who's testing your boundaries, it's like they just don't care or respect what you have to say. Your no does not mean no to them. It just means try harder. If for friends, it's the guilt tripping, I thought you would want to spend time with me since I'm going through a bad time right now. Or I figured you don't owe anyone anything. Truly, you don't owe anyone anything. And the more that they think that they own your time and they need parts, they have to have your energy because you're indebted to them. I'm sorry, but I had one friend in Miami that was like this. And towards the end of our friendship, she was going through a breakup that wasn't even a breakup. It was a situationship that she was dealing with, which fine. I am more than supportive and there for my friends in any situation, especially the bad. But it was so one-sided. And towards the end of our friendship, she was going through that. And I had planned some kind of date or something at the time. And she's like, I can't believe that you would leave me in a time like this. And went on about how terrible of a friend I was. I'm like, this is psychotic behavior. I'm so sorry, but truly need to take a step back here because I don't owe you anything. I've, for the past couple of weeks, been nothing but supportive and there for you. If, God forbid, I want to go on a date one night, I'm going to go on a date. And so if they feel like they can test your boundaries or guilt trip you or make you feel bad for moving the way that you're moving, those are not your friends. But these are subtle things to watch out for in any dynamic, whether that's relationships, friendships. Be okay with leaving people where they're at. No friendship, no relationship should be one-sided. And in fact, this year specifically, after recognizing my patterns of having one-sided relationships where I'm the one always pouring into people and being there and caring and always showing up, but then when it's time for me to need someone or want someone to show up in areas of my life, and they don't show up, it's like I'm actually super good on one side of relationships this year. And that is what I'm leaving behind for 2025 and the past years. This year, truly, it has to be double-sided. Otherwise, I want no part of it. But normalizing, it doesn't have to be like, I hate you, whatever, blah, 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 and this huge blowout. It could just simply be like, I'm taking a step back from this. And maybe the text gets shorter. Maybe you directly say to them, hey, I just feel like this is a bit one-sided. And if you don't feel like you can have an open conversation with your friend or your partner or whoever it is and be like, this is how I'm feeling. And if they don't make the necessary changes and it's just conversation just to have conversation about how you feel, or they make you feel bad for even feeling the way that you're feeling, that's when you can cut it. But sometimes, maybe it's not 100,000% healthy to walk away and say, whatever, F this, wiping my hands of it. I tend to do that as more so sometimes on the avoidance side. I'm just like, I don't need this anymore. I'm outgrowing it. I'm done with it. I'm moving on with my life. Sometimes you really have to get to the point where you just are comfortable with walking away, because you know that on the other side of that, yes, it's going to be lonely for a little bit, but would you rather be friends with someone who secretly does not want good for you? And it's just comfortable because they're either in a similar circle or they're around all the time. You see them frequently. Protect your energy at all costs. Protect your peace at all costs. And maybe it's a situation where you have to take a step back because you see them frequently, but you can still take a step back. Stop telling them so much about your life. Don't be there as much for them and their lives. Separate yourselves. We're grown now. You can step away whenever you want to. You can leave whenever you want to. You don't have to stay in something just because you've been friends with someone for 10 years. You don't have to do that. And that was one of my biggest lessons a couple years ago, is if a friendship is not working, but you're just so comfortable in it because it's been so long that you've been friends, no one talks about this enough. I think it's almost frowned upon. It's like, yeah, you've been friends with them for so long, so you're basically going to be friends forever. That's not the case. If I no longer resonate with you, if you're no longer growing with me, I'm going to outgrow you. And I'm so sorry, but my peace matters so much more to me than saying that I have a 20-year friendship with someone who does not want the best for me, or with someone who secretly has malintent behind their actions towards me, who secretly doesn't support what I'm doing. I'm sorry, but I don't have time for it. We're growing this year. We're leaving behind what doesn't work, and let this be your sign to let go of people that are no longer resonating with you and your energy. With that being said, that is it for this week's episode. Anyway, I will see you all next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is a full rebrand. Guys, this is my last episode as Way Too Wifey, but I hope you enjoyed this ride with me. We're moving on to other things next season, next podcast. It's the same podcast, same, but different, okay? I will still be here next week, next Tuesday. I'll speak to you then.